Talk Parade, Queen's Standard is lowered.
We therefore present to you the designee for National Hero of Barbados, Ambassador Robin Rihanna Fenty. May you continue to shine like a diamond and bring honor to your nation.
Possessing a clear sense of who we are and what we are capable of achieving, in the year 2021, we now turn our vessel's bow towards the new republic. We do this so that we may seize the full substance of our sovereignty.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. Welcome back to the Leon Block. Thank you for tuning in. It is John Tell. Your kinfolk with the info. Live. Good morning if you are just tuning in and you have not heard. Barbados apparently cut ties with Queen Elizabeth II, and now they're officially a republic. And apparently, this particular article calls it a dazzling ceremony. What's going on with everyone? It is cold on this early December morning here in Pennsylvania. Where are you? And what's going on with you? Let me know. Feel free to comment in the comments or DM us at the Leon Block Independent Media here on Facebook. And of course, also reach out to us on YouTube. We are live on YouTube at the moment as well. Now, I do have some block drops for y'all this morning. Per usual. The usual block drops ranging from everything from Rihanna to Kyle Rittenhouse, of course. Just one moment, we're going to get right into it. So, a Virginia Beach police officer will not face charges in killing of a black man. Nope. Am I surprised? I am not. A Virginia Beach police officer won't face criminal charges in the fatal shooting of a black man whose killing during a night of chaotic violence in March stirred protests and gathered national attention. A special grand jury declined to issue any indictments in the killing of 25-year-old Donovan Lynch. Virginia Beach Commonwealth's attorney Colin Stoll announced at a Tuesday news conference that Lynch was the cousin of pop superstar Pharrell Williams, who grew up in Virginia Beach. Officer Solomon D. Simmons said in an interview with investigators that at the news that was played at the news conference that he had just responded to a barrage of more than 50 gunshots in a parking lot on the city's oceanfront when he encountered Lynch on March 26th. Wow. Lynch was not part of the shooting, but was making his way to his own vehicle after a night out on the strip of bars and restaurants. Simmons, who is black, said he was exiting the parking lot when he noticed someone who seemed, quote unquote, out of place. Simmons said he thought he heard a gunshot, a gun being cocked, and glanced over and saw a man crouched behind some bushes surrounding the parking lot where the shooting had just occurred. Simmons said the man started to rise with his weapon. The officer said he thought the man might start to open fire on officers and other people milling about in the parking lot. Simmons said he shouted something he could not remember to Lynch. He turned around toward me. I remember firing 3 gunshots at him. Lynch fell to the ground and later died. Lynch's family members did not immediately comment on Tuesday, but a lawsuit filed against police. They said they contend that he was fired upon without warning and posed no threat at the time of the shooting. Lynch's family said he sometimes worked in security and had a gun that he was legally carrying that night. Prosecutors said Lynch never pointed his gun directly at Solomon, but a round was discovered in the chamber of the weapon. Stoll said the special grand jury, which spent months investigating the shooting, found Simmons acted in self-defense and in defense of the others. There were numerous people in that parking lot when Officer Simmons saw Lynch starting to come up with the firearm. It is not only just whether the weapon was pointed at Mr. Simmons, but also are the people in the parking lot at risk. Eyewitness accounts contradict police account of the fatal shooting. Virginia Beach prosecutors cast doubt on Marsh's account, saying the fact that they had collected did not square with it. Stoll said he called a special grand jury to investigate the shooting because Marsh and 2 other witnesses declined to give interviews to detectives. Special grand juries have the ability to subpoena witnesses to testify. The circumstances of the shooting remained extremely murky for months because Simmons did not activate his body camera, and no cell phone or surveillance video of the shooting emerged publicly. If you want this entire article and further information on the story, feel free to look into the comments. It is posted on our Facebook page, the Leon Block Independent Media. World Health Organization warns of very high risk posed by the Omicron variant. Nurses demand COVID-19 vaccine patient patent waiver, and China pledges 1 billion doses for Africa. Pentagon to investigate U.S. airstrike that killed dozens of civilians in Syria. And if you want more information on any of those articles and this specific one about Syria, Democracy Now! Has tons of information on it. They have specific videos about what has happened in Syria with that specific airstrike that they're speaking of. Iran demands sanctions relief as talks on revised nuclear deal resume in Vienna. Majority of Australian Parliament workers face bullying, sexual harassment, or assault. CNN to review records detailing how Chris Cuomo helped his brother discredit and smear accusers. CNN has announced it will review newly released information that details how anchor Chris Cuomo helped his brother, disgraced former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, strategized a defense against mounting accusations of sexual harassment. Thousands of pages of new evidence and sworn testimony were released Monday, showing Andrew Cuomo, who was found to have sexually harassed at least 11 women, heavily relied on his allies, including his younger brother, to manipulate the press and discredit his accusers. Documents include text messages between Chris Cuomo and Melissa Del Rosa, a former top aide to Andrew Cuomo, suggesting CNN anchor was instrumental in crafting his brother's defense strategy. Representative Ilhan Omar hangs up on Representative Lauren Boebert, who joked Omar was a suicide bomb. I don't know if y'all heard about that, but it was fucking disgraceful. Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and other Democratic lawmakers are calling on Republican leaders to hold Colorado Republican Lauren Boebert accountable for recent hateful and Islamophobic comments. So far, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy has refused the request. In a video posted to Twitter last week that's since gone viral, Boebert called Omar one of the first Muslim women elected to Congress, a member of the Jihad Squad, and joked that she was a suicide bomber. On Monday, Congresswoman Omar confirmed she abruptly ended a phone call with Bobart after Bobart refused to publicly apologize for her remarks. Omar tweeted, "There is only so much grace we can extend to others as humans before we must learn to cut our losses or hang up on someone in this case." Very true. Amazon violated labor law in Alabama Union Drive. NLRB rules setting stage for new election. So the National Labor Relations Board has ruled that Amazon violated U.S. labor law as it fought a unionization campaign by workers in Bessemer, Alabama earlier this year. This is awesome fucking sauce, y'all. The ruling sets the stage for a new union election sometime in the next several months. More than 70% of workers who cast ballots in a union election in February voted against the retail, wholesale, and department store union. The union says the vote failed after an aggressive campaign of intimidation, interference, and surveillance by Amazon managers. And on Monday, the NLRB agreed, ruling that Amazon worked illegally with the U.S. Postal Service to install a collection box at the warehouse one day before the voting was set to begin. Amazon managers then pressured workers to drop their ballots in the new collection box, casting doubt over the secrecy of the election. Pioneering Black former Congress member Carrie Meek dies at 95. Advocates say Haitian refugees face neglect and mistreatment at New Mexico ICE jail. Immigrants justice advocates are denouncing brutal and dangerous conditions faced by Haitian asylum seekers currently imprisoned at the Torrance County Detention Facility in Escantia, New Mexico. At least 50 asylum seekers who were previously sheltering under a bridge in Del Rio, Texas, were taken to Torrance shortly after Border Patrol violently apprehended thousands of asylum seekers back in September. If y'all remember, we talked about this. Most have been deported by the Biden administration. However, advocates are demanding Immigration and Customs Enforcement allow pro bono attorneys provide the Haitian asylum seekers in person legal consultations at Torrance, that information about legal services be posted at the facility in Haitian Creole, and that ICE halt deportations and asylum seekers are released while their cases are resolved. The asylum seekers have also detailed mistreatment and medical neglect at Torrance, which is operated by the private prison corporation CoreCivic. Thousands of Bolivians rally in La Paz in defense of socialist President Luis Arce. Barbados removes British monarch as head of state, becoming a parliamentary republic. As Barbados has removed Queen Elizabeth II as its head of state, freeing itself from the British monarchy after 400 years of colonization. In an overnight ceremony in the capital of Bridgetown, Dame Sandra Mason was sworn in as Barbados' first ever president. Fireworks adorned the sky at midnight as Barbados officially became the world's newest republic. Ahead of the ceremony, Barbados held a national service of Thanksgiving where Barbados Senator and Reverend John Rogers spoke. You can check out any more detailed articles and videos concerning any of those headlines that I just gave you on democracynow.org. There are links in the comments to that information. Along with this one, new rift opens between U.S. House Republicans over racism claims. And this one, a Brazilian town empties as migration to U.S. accelerates. Yes, that one is very interesting. It's this town nestled up in the hills of a southeastern state. Municipal data suggests hundreds of households in this town, which is home to roughly 7,500 people, have this year taken their kids out of school and sold their belongings to finance the journey to the U.S. The town bakery is short of help. Civil servants have abandoned their posts, and local soccer teams are running out of players. A young kid that's 23 years old says everyone is leaving. There's a young woman who now lives in Orlando, Florida, baking cakes to supplement her husband's construction income and pay off $15,000 in debt they took on to hire a human smuggler. So the stampede from this town and other nearby towns underscores the lingering impact of a pandemic that has killed more than 600,000 people in Brazil, second only to the U.S. It also reflects this year's broader jump in U.S.-bound migration from Latin America, an unequal, violent, and poorly governed region hit hard by the virus. Record numbers of Brazilians, Haitians, and Venezuelans are turning up at the U.S. southern border, swelling the ranks of hopefuls from traditional migration hotspots like Mexico and Central America. Brazilians ranked number 6 among the nationalities detained there in the 2021 fiscal year. U.S. Customs and Border Protection data shows a record 56,735 were stopped, adding to pressure on U.S. President Biden to halt the flow. I have my own issues with Biden. Unlike previous migration waves dominated by poor young men who quickly returned home, this one is drawing white-collar workers who will be harder for Brazil to replace. Officials, academics, and police, nurses, engineers, and even city officials with guaranteed jobs are leaving, many with no plans to return. Nearly 5% of the 162 employees at the mayor's office in this town, the town's top employer, fled to the U.S. this year alone. Many are taking their families as well, capitalizing on a U.S. asylum policy that allows some nationalities, including Brazilians, to remain in the U.S. while they pursue their claims, a legal process that could take years. Fully 99% of Brazilian families who were apprehended at the U.S. southern border in fiscal 2021 gained entry to pursue cases in immigration court, CPB data shows. Now, don't you think that's quite in contrast to what I was just explaining to you about Haitians? Let that marinate. And let this marinate. U.S. landlords less likely to respond to renter applications with Black and Hispanic names, a study reveals. Conducted by the National Bureau of Economic Research, they found that most U.S. landlords are committing housing discrimination by responding less to applicants with Black and Hispanic names as opposed to their white counterparts. Not surprising. Researchers used fictional renters with names most commonly associated with white, Black, and Hispanic origins, and then followed the 25,000 interactions between fake identities and the 8,000 property managers in 50 of the biggest U.S. cities. Discrimination continues to affect housing access and outcomes for renters of color in major U.S. cities and is associated with higher levels of residential segregation. Well, it's not just major U.S. cities. I think it's worse in rural areas, and we face not just that kind of discrimination, but also blatant racism, and it's unchecked, and no one does anything about it. I think that also should be worth noting as well. And the study found that renters with a white-sounding name had a 60% chance of getting a response from landlords compared to black applicants, which was a 54% chance, or Hispanics, who had a 57% chance. Wow. The outlet goes on to add that housing discrimination further lends to perpetuated segregated neighborhoods in large cities. That's pretty clear and evident when you think about it, you know? The study found that the likelihood of finding someone of the same race or ethnicity who lived in the building as those denied a response from landlords decreased by 17%. Makes sense. Black renters in popular cities like Chicago, LA, Louisville, or Latinos in Louisville, Houston, and Providence, Rhode Island, face the toughest barriers. Housing discrimination can have a critical impact on residential location choices and access to opportunity. Stronger discriminatory constraints on renters of color, particularly Black people, are also associated with higher levels of residential discrimination and larger gaps in intergenerational income mobility. According to scholarly studies, access to opportunity neighborhoods, meaning predominantly white sectors with properly funded schools, can effectively change the trajectory of a family's financial mobility and social status. Opportunity Insights shares study findings that prove a low-income child living in a less popular city has a better chance of reaching a higher financial income level than a low-income child living in a highly populated city like Baltimore. Yeah, I can definitely attest to that. I was born in a very small town of about 14,000, and then I moved to a city of about 50,000, then to a city of 80,000. And I'm Black, I'm a person of color, and so that would make sense to me. The research also shows that there are more chances for upwards mobility in certain areas in larger cities as opposed to a smaller city like Salt Lake City. The study further shows that children who live in these opportunity neighborhoods have a greater chance of upwards mobility by the time they become an adult than their counterparts in segregated neighborhoods. In fact, that's contributed to segregated neighborhoods typically being kept to areas with less opportunity. Supreme Court's decision in abortion case will affect dozens of states beyond Mississippi. This article is in the comments. You definitely want to check it out. And in tandem with that, you definitely want to stay tuned. We will be going live from noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to air an event, Bands Off Our Bodies, a protest against, the decision of, for example, Texas and other places and things that's going on right now concerning women's reproductive organs, and just standing up and speaking our minds for what's right. We will be airing people speaking and the event in totality, so definitely tune into that. So as controversy over his enrollment swirls, ASU says Kyle Rittenhouse is not currently a student. The U.S. confirmed on Monday the 18-year-old, who was recently acquitted by a Wisconsin jury of all charges in his shooting and killing of 2 men and wounding of a third in aftermath of Kenosha protests, was taking online classes at ASU. Yeah, we talked about this the other day. I'm not sure if anyone got it or remember, but yeah, and now he's trying to get onto campus, but students, understandably so, went into uproar and protested. In recent media interviews, he said he wants to study on campus. After Rittenhouse said on the witness stand on November 10th that he was a college student at ASU, the university confirmed he was enrolled as a non-degree seeking online student for the session that started in mid-October, although he hadn't gone through the admissions process and wasn't enrolled in a nursing school. But according to the university, he's not a student anymore. All right, you can check the rest of that article out in the comments, along with another article, a different article about Barbados, one specifically about Rihanna, and then one about where remainders of COVID funds have gone. 800 billion in COVID relief funds still haven't made it to the American people, according to the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. And in PA, Pennsylvania, about 2.5 billion of that money is going to a rainy day fund. For more information on that article or to read the article in its entirety, definitely check the comment section of our Facebook page. You definitely want to tune into that. If you want any more of articles similar to any of these that I did just give you, definitely check out democracynow.org. They have all of the latest current and events, and they give it to you raw and real. They don't sugarcoat shit. Also, we did an interview with my mother yesterday, so if you want some info and just a good time to listen to something about hair and black folk, definitely check that out. Shout out to Lancaster Pharmacy for always, giving the best tea, because this chai tea is amazing. I boiled it with milk. Actually, one part water, 3 parts almond milk, flax milk, actually, with some agave nectar, and then I boiled the chaga chai in it and strained it, and it's amazing. It's just so amazing. So shout out to them. So I just really wanted to give y'all some block drops, let y'all know what's going on out there in the world. If you didn't know, I do stream live to Wave Crave Radio, your hottest urban wave in the 717 Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Central PA, playing all the best and greatest hip hop, R&B, soul, gospel, you name it, events, interviews, they have it. You can listen to them on Facebook, Instagram. Actually, you can download from iTunes, Google Play. Make sure you go and download that shit, all right? Wave Crave Radio, it's one word, Wave Crave. All right, please go do that. I am live every night, just about Sunday to Friday, midnight to 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we go live worldwide. You can check it out anywhere in the world. All right, definitely stay tuned. We always doing some big things. And if you have any questions or comments, or you just want to hit us up, feel free to email me at theleonblock@gmail.com, or you can just hit up the Facebook, the Leon Block Independent Media, because we love input and conversation. Is what we do. It's our purpose, and this is your media platform. If you're looking for more content, feel free to check out our YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, where we connect with our comrades in the movement and help connect you to not only the most important news, but also the up-to-date events, movements, demonstrations, rallies, marches, press, conferences, trials, spiritual retreats, and much more. Our IG has the biggest connections to comrades all over the world. Shout out to our indigenous friends and our folks up in Minnesota right now. We stand in solidarity with you. From China to Palestine, Bolivia to Ethiopia. We keep up with events to make sure you are well informed and not left in the dark. We're beings of light. It's important to be reminded of that. Our YouTube has all video and audio content for your viewing pleasure, and our Facebook is currently our motherboard with the best embodiment of all things Leon. The Facebook page is the best way to keep up with the Leon Block and current events, news, everything you need, and more you will find on our Facebook. And if you enjoyed this talk about socialism, you want more content like it, head over to our YouTube and check out more shit on topics ranging from Cosby and R. Kelly to adoption, mental health, black farmers, capitalism, anarchy, colorism, refugees, sex and relationships, rental assistance, weaves, homelessness, sex work, molestation, rape, climate change, medication, meditation, crystals, chakras, generational wealth, redlining, you name it. All right. So what is the Leon Block? The Leon Block is an independent media outlet covering world events, social justice, civil rights, human rights. We support and amplify BIPOC businesses, self-sustainable agriculture, spirituality, really anything mainstream media won't, but so much more. So I want to leave you on one last note. I read this today. Well, yesterday it was for November 30th, but I think it still applies. You are not losing money. You are losing the old you. You're losing the old energy to make way for more abundance in your life. Stop fighting or trying to hold on to anything. Lose control and release. Bear and let it all go. If you're taking the risky path, but it's aligned with your inner knowing, you're not doing it wrong because you're aligned with your true self. It's time to embody what you preach or know and be that. Anyone who attacks you is out of control from within, and their darkness is being revealed through your light. Affirm that. Know that. Be that. As usual, y'all, thank you for tuning into the Leon Block. Make sure you meditate on your path, celebrate your being, liberate your spirit, and educate yourself. I am John Tell. Arm yourself with knowledge and have a blessed journey. Leon.